along to your Moon in Pisces reading. If you don't know, we have a lovely new moon on the 20th. But this reading is going to be taking a look at the collective energies that are going on. In other words, what's going on in our collective as this beautiful moon transits the sign of Pisces from February 20th to February 22nd. As I always say, make sure to also check in with your other kinds of readers, including astrologers. There are other kinds of readers out there as well, whatever floats your boat. And don't forget, you can also take pen and paper, say your prayers, sit down and just feel into what impressions come through for you. But until then, let's jump into this video. The last reading that I did for the moon reading, I believe, was the moon in, was it Virgo? Let me check. Oh, it might have been the moon in Sagittarius. Yes. And sorry, I'm actually choking a little bit because the air is just a little bit thick in here because I just saged and it's ventilating now. But anyway, the moon in Sagittarius. And if you check the title, it said something like, eek, these energies are funky. And may I say, yes, they are. Is this thing on? Yes. Yes, they are. Now, you may be like, but Jay, that was like days ago for reals. Yes, and that's true. But remember, energy is energy. And it's flowing. It moves to its own beat. It does its own thing. So just because we're now on the moon in Pisces days later does not mean that we no longer have those energies at play. So let me be the first to let you know we do. All right. So if you have been going crazy recently, let me ask you this. What has been your concern? What is popping up in your reality as a fear? What's dogging your mind? What's happening? Because I will let you know that right now fear is rampant right now. So it's ramped up. And actually, to be quite fair and honest, not fair, to be quite transparent, you may have noticed that I did the astro reels recently. I did Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. I did the first 6, totally en route, getting stuff done. Lo and behold, the Gemini reading was so, let's just say, devilish that I kept that one back. TBH, to be honest. I kept that one back and have been deliberating for the past few days whether or not to put it out. Either way, I will be reshooting the Gemini reading. So thank you so much to all of you gems who have been so waiting. I very much always seek balance. So I'm always very careful about what to post. But the long story short is that right now, and this is exactly what the guides, I don't really like saying these messages, but you guys know me. If you know me personally, you know you've gotten services from me, you know I keep it 100, but in a loving way. But my guides told me right now that I don't want to use the word so it could get so the video won't get like whatever they do, banned or I don't know. But you know, SATAN is about, okay? And I'm usually like, I don't know if I believe in that, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, they said what they said. They said what they said. And I have been receiving so much energetic interference all over, in a sense. And so I've really been doing my work on my end to stay as grounded as possible. Because remember, you know, we're sovereign beings. And we are the ones who decide what to do at the end of the day. The whole point is that you always want to make sure that you're in your heart space so you are not easily swayed by your fears. I want to also let you know that we recently have been receiving a lot of let's say energetics coming into our field, in particular the male-female complement. So a lot of you have been stepping into higher expressions of your divine masculine, your inner divine masculine, your outer and your inner divine feminine. So you're leveling up. And anytime we have these major energies coming into our field, they're light. The frequencies are very high. And so what they do is they kick up the low vibrational frequencies, 4 minutes, 44 seconds. All right. And so what happens? Think about Pigpen. Remember super cute Pigpen from Peanuts? You know, the one who was like basically walking around in a whole like dust bowl. What do you think he was seeing on it through his dust bowl, if he even was, right? He's not going to be seeing the true colors that are outside. He's not going to be seeing the true energies. He's not going to be seeing all sorts of things. He's going to be seeing through his darkness. All right, so guess what? That's why I said, what have you been seeing? For some of you, have you been seeing entity attacks? Have you been seeing your money being drained? Have you been seeing your lover cheating? Have you been seeing you're losing your job? What are you seeing? And keep in your mind that, that old image of two angels, one on each side. They could be wearing different clothes, whatever. One's red, one's white. Just take your eyes off the details of that 5 minutes 44 seconds and look at the dynamic. The dynamic is you make the decision. Doesn't matter who's talking in your ear, doesn't matter how real it feels, 5 minutes 55 seconds. You have to come back to the heart, and you are required to go to the energy of trust. The guides were talking recently about leap of faith. The leap of faith, as Indiana Jones so bravely showed us in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Remember when he had to walk the leap of faith challenge? Anyway, you can Google that. You can YouTube that. Indiana Jones leap of faith. And they'll show that moment. He took a leap of faith. He thought he was going to plummet to his death, if he stepped into this chasm between where he was and the precipice over where he needed to be. There was no bridge. But he was like, all right, I got to do it. I'm trusting you, God. And he's all wobbly. And then you realize, oh my God, there's something here. And then he looked at it. It was an optical illusion from where he had been standing. It looked like there was nothing there. And then when he actually took the step, now he was able to experience, after taking the leap of faith, in other words, after believing, then he saw. We don't see first and believe. So again, Earth is the upside down, 7 minutes, 7 seconds. So when you hear things like seeing is believing, that's completely wrong. Some people need to see in order to believe. They are on the back end of things. You must believe and then you see. And the reason why is because your beliefs structure your reality. And it also precipitates down your energetic field to inform your internal drive. It informs the thoughts you think, which are thoughts that precipitate down from your internal drive. It informs your feelings, which precipitate down from those thoughts, which precipitated down from the internal drive. And not only are you in your feelings about things, but these core beliefs way up here going down, down, down your field then inform your gut reactions. Can you believe they said that to me? How dare they? Meanwhile, someone else is like, what? I don't think they said anything wrong. The reason why is because it's not because one's right and one's wrong. It's because they're both looking at it and they're running on different core beliefs. All right? Your core belief will have you in the trash in life. It will have you literally living in trash. It will have you jumping off a cliff. It will have you imbibing all sorts of stuff. Your core beliefs will have you separating from the people who try to love you. Your core beliefs will keep you alone, period. You must look at what your core beliefs are, because if you're having fear-based core beliefs, as simple as like, I don't deserve to be here on this planet, I don't know what is going to be going on in your life, right? But you must be aware of that, because not only will that also precipitate down to your gut reactions, but guess what happens after we have gut reactions? We have action. Many people, this is literally what it means to act without thinking, because with thinking there's consciousness. There's an attempt at consciousness here on this planet, because A Course in Miracles teaches us that we're not actually thinking, because we're so in the sauce right now that we're lost and we're doing our best. And so we think we're seeing things, we feel like we're feeling things, all these things feel real, and that's why I did that. But the truth is that you're not seeing clearly, so what you're doing is not making sense. All right? And so anyway, the whole point right now is, regardless of what your fears are, at the end of the day, you will see the details, whether it's around your job, a relationship, around who does mom like better, around demons attacking you, around whatever. Those are just the details that emanate from a core belief in fear. And your job on this planet, regardless of what you came here to do, is to heal yourself. And when we say heal ourselves, we talk about healing perceptions. When we talk about healing perceptions, we talk about getting into a state of integration. When we talk about getting into a state of integration, we mean cleaning up the meeting again and cleaning up the soul fragments. When we talk about soul fragments, we talk about those parts of us that were traumatized in this lifetime or past lifetimes, and for whatever reason, their consciousness, by the way, whatever reason, took on beliefs that separated them and caused them to separate from our energetic field. Now, in soul loss, they're way out of our field, and they're somewhere in a location, maybe in another time. You need shamanic practices to call those little guys back. That's called soul retrieval. When it is not that grave, but it's still pretty bad, these soul fragments, these parts of our souls that have experienced these things, travel, the guides are saying, they travel from your body, your physical body, and into your energetic field further, right? So again, now you're still in the realm of working with energy healers. Shout out to energy healers. Wait till 20, 30 years from now, and all of you are trying to book appointments with energy healers in conjunction with your medical doctors. It's already happening, right? And then, of course, then we have another kind of less severe, but still pretty, we still need to pay attention. Another kind of soul breaking or fragmenting is when these parts of our souls actually break off a bit, but they lodge and hide, super cute, hide in a part of the body. So when you're in that kind of mode and it's still in your body, now you can go to an acupuncturist, someone doing acupressure. They can really, and they touch a part of you and you're like, suddenly you remember your anger at your first boyfriend's mother, and you're like, whoa, yeah, because that was in your meridians. It was stuck here in your elbow, or just whatever. Or stuck in your elbows, the book you still haven't written. Oh my God, there's a book. Oh my gosh, what? Hold on. Right underneath, The Power of Purpose. I love it. Love, okay, right? So, energy, start paying attention to it, respecting it, understanding it. People don't respect what they don't understand, but yet they don't try to understand what they don't understand. And what's worse, they go off of mainstream ideas of what's normal. That is the one nail in the coffin. That's the actual coffin, and that's the nail that you put in it. So it's very important in this day and age that when we have these moments of fear and things are going on and we're lashing out, we're having these experiences, it's important that you get out of a place of blaming others. It's important that you get out of a place of beating yourself up. It's very important, if possible, if at all possible, that you get out of a place of coping mechanisms that are unhealthy. Because a lot of times you will find that, wow, if somebody taught this in school about understanding about our energy fields and how I'm having these backaches because I'm angry with my mother and she's angry with me, and the energies are coming back and forth, or wow, I keep feeling like somebody's watching me and there's a demon after me, but I don't realize it's because of my past lifetime programming when I was in the monasteries, and it's still here, and I'm not making 2 cents of it, and I'm just feeling watched. Yeah, these are things that are really happening. So now, when we understand more about how the energy fields work and what's actually happening and what gets kicked up when what happens, then we're able to get more out of fear. And that can bring us into a state of safety, because then we're believing less and less and less and less over time in, listen up, in the ability, listen up, we're believing less and less over time as we heal in the ability of somebody outside of us to change our fate, to make us do things, okay? The problem that we have to realize is that sometimes we're not in the driver's seat because a more dominant aspect of us is active and is doing its own thing and telling the universe that you actually want a bum for a boyfriend, instead of the universe listening to you scripting and saying, but I really would like Prince Charming. No, it's going to send you to bum, because that subconscious unhealed aspect that you haven't even looked at yet is calling the shots. So the best form of protection, quote unquote, from the energetic and in the energetic space is to come back to earth. Get grounded, come back to yourself, use your logic, Call upon your guides and your angels, but take grounded steps, 14 minutes, 44 seconds. Affirm who you are. Remember what you're here to do. The power of purpose. Stop telling yourself stories. So when we see signs and things like that, let that be an indication, oh, I need to look at something. It's very rarely going to be a sign that, yes, he's the one. We always want it to be a sign like, oh, yes, it's a sign, I should take this job. But you have to understand that what manifests to you and calls your attention is directly related to what you're paying your attention to, whether you're aware you're paying your attention to that or not. So you see how it can be a little jumbled? And so this is why the guides always talk about learning to be ideologically flexible as a way of allowing yourself to move in and out of belief systems on this planet. Because when you're ideologically flexible and you allow therefore you allow yourself to move in and out of things that you believe, and that allows you to grow and to change and to evolve and to have opinions. It's okay to have opinions. I'm not being a bad person or a bad girl or a bad boy or disobeying authority. And you can tell these differences in approaches because some kids who grow up in families that are very authoritarian, they're very moralistic, they teach to a certain code, they punish for their black and white, right, wrong, up, down, and versus a child whose parents ask them to sit and reflect 16 minutes, 16 seconds on what it is that they're feeling, how they got there, what action steps they can do, how they plan to get themselves out of it, and are they and inviting them to listen to advice and really basically teaching them to think for themselves. Now, without shaming, if possible. Now, what happens is these two people grow up in this world and have different views of the world. And so, therefore, something happens. One group struggles to transcend something that's happening, whereas the other group, which is more trained to not have the backlash of fear and shame and feeling like you're a rebel or you're disobeying daddy and mommy or all of these things, or you're a heretic and all of this, these people are ideologically flexible enough to move about the cabin, to try new things, to taste new things, to experience, and not to down themselves. So they're arguably working with more self-love, demonstrated self-love as well, than this group who has been trained into submission. Okay, so interestingly, this is all part of the reading because we out here, right? So Spirit is saying you must learn to use your heart, your divine heart, your divine mind, and your divine will, bing, as a way of activating protection. Because what do you need to protect? Your mind. Because your mind on this planet is very, very possible. Why do you think? Very, very possible. I love it. I was going to say powerful, but they said possible. It's possible to do this. Why do you think companies spend billions of dollars to implant ideas into your mind? Why? 18 minutes, 18 seconds. You will drive by a billboard that out in the middle of nowhere. Why? Because they understand. That's why if you look at marketing, communications major, marketing, you must take classes in psychology. You would be foolish not to do that, not to understand how people behave so that you can get ahead of the market. So you have to understand people make careers and they make billions of dollars to control you. And so it's to the point where it's very Pavlovian. People see somebody on TV, marketing makes it that person's the cool one. This person starts wearing certain clothes. They start appearing in certain things. And now you're leading a whole generation. Not only that, you're now teaching a whole generation how to speak to each other, how to relate to each other, how to relate to themselves, their gender, other people's genders, how to feel about substances that take them out of the driver's seat, what kinds of media to consume. So you see, everyone wants to be different, but everybody is moving to the tune of something. The question is, because we live in a very curated world, but the question is, what is the box you're in? What's the tune? This is a question the guides were just asking. Oh, it was in the Sagittarius reading, Moon in Sagittarius reading. They said, what is the box? So the last few days have given you guys quite a lot of intel. What is the box that you have been in? Who's in it? What are the details? What are the forms? Forms being people, places, things, situations, and ideas that are the manifestations of the energetic structures that you have in your field. The energetic structures were erected by what? Your core beliefs. You change your core beliefs, structures start falling around you. And things cannot get in. It's so strong to the point that when you see people who are so in their power, I mean, they're just so in their power, they are like a brick wall you cannot get in. You cannot get in. You cannot get in. So you have to ask, what are these people doing that I'm not doing? And I'm not saying you can't get in, like they're like that, they're unemotional, they're this, that, or whatever, or they're faking, and at home they're really crying. No, I'm talking about people who are so in a place in control. They've taken control of their projections. They understand how things are working. They observe the patterns in other people. They understand the media. They understand how to move in this world. They understand most of what they see in this world is not real, especially most of the things that are connected to money and power. Okay, so if you really want to start talking about things like the devil and things about evil and this and that, you have to look at the things that get people all the time. Now, if you know me, you know I'm not religious at all. Just like with food, I don't have a certain thing. If it tastes good and it's in my mouth, I love it. And what's the name of it? I'll go back there 40 times. Taurus moon. Okay. But I do have to say that when things cross my path, I must mention it. And look at me, I don't even remember what they are. Devices. Hold on, let me go over to my computer. Yep, there they are. Weirdly, thank you, Hollywood. All I think about is what's in the box, remember? Anyway, so some of them are greed, anger, lust, envy, gluttony, pride, sloth, all of this stuff, right? Vanity is another one. What were the guides saying recently? They were talking about needing to master your virtues. Remember the virtues? Kindness, generosity, even those must be in balance. Because people will say they're kind, but they're not really being kind because they're enabling or they're trying to manipulate, right? And some people are just kind because they really have the heart, but still even they need to learn to bring it into balance because they have to protect themselves. They're too naive. Balance. A soul will spend lifetimes trying to work on one virtue alone. I mean, working on all the others, but because we're on life, we have to try, right? But they, when you ask them, what were you working on in that lifetime? Kindness. Oh, okay. You want to give a little bit more about it? No. Okay. All right. Well, sure. And you'll experience it from different angles. But just as we must look at the virtues, why? Because the virtues are the pillars of love. When you practice, we're not looking for perfection, but when you use your lifetime to practice the virtues, what you're doing is you're strengthening, you're creating for yourself and you're strengthening pillars, energetic pillars of love. These are energetic structures you are instilling. That's why we use the word instill, right? Instilling within your field. That's how you master. That's how people become quote unquote ascended masters. That's how people leave the matrix, if that's what you want to call it. That's how people leave samsara. This is how they elevate their consciousness. You strengthen in what? Virtues, balance, moderation. I always feel like Buddhism talks about it really well when they say about right speech, right mind, right? All of this. And they're big on compassion. These are things that are so ahead of our time that, are these masters that have come here and they leave their legacies behind. They leave the one word things. Oh, compassion. Okay, well, let's talk about it. What does that mean? I'm here. I'm at the tax office. Like, is it compassionate for me to do this or is it for me to do that? Like, that's your homework. You have to figure it out. but they've already figured it out, and that's why they're able to share it with you. And they're like, hey, I'm at the end here. Well, there's never an end, but I'm way ahead of you. This is what you got to focus on. Move towards it. 2 minutes, 44 seconds. Move towards it. But you can't expect to hop, skip, and jump over there. You're learning by practicing and trial and error. And as we do those virtues and we really keep them in mind, put them up in your house somewhere, live by them. Stop with all the like placards on the wall that says, kindness lives here, or we do, sorry. Like, no, those are great on the wall, but if we don't have like things like the virtues listed somewhere in your pocket so we can remember, oh, okay, I'm not gonna like rip this guy's head off at Mr. the Mr. Softy truck because I'm just trying to be kind here, right? I'm trying to, listen and give him a chance. And this is how we practice. But just in the same way that we practice our virtues in order to strengthen the pillars of love, and we work towards balancing these different concepts, thereby strengthening our hearts, we must also consider the vices. What are the vices? I just named some of them. Lust, gluttony, vanity. To a lot of us in this generation, we're like, okay, grandma, all right, gramps, or okay, because I'm super religious and wow, you're saying something that finally makes sense to me, Jonelle, I knew you'd come around. Whatever you're thinking to your mind, it kind of doesn't matter. The point is, understand that at the core of the things that get people tripped up is their loss of ability or their loss of focus on watching for these things. If somebody comes and they give you a job offer, guess what the flavor is when you move to them? You're not just going to be like, oh, does it pay my bills? There's probably a part of your ego that steps in like, oh, vanity. What is this going to make me look like? Oh, I'm finally going to be better than my brothers and sisters. You may not even know you're thinking it, right? Or finally, I can get some respect in this house with my husband or my wife. Or I'm going to have, first thing I'm going to do is buy a car because whatever. That's bordering on vanity. You want to be seen. You want to flaunt. You want to whatever. And there's nothing wrong with being beautiful and wanting to be seen that way and enjoyed like a cute little flower, right? In fact, let me show you these cute little flowers, literally, that came today. Hold on. Aren't these the most gorgeous? Let me go ahead and smell. You guys want to smell? I made the smell sound. It smells divine. Okay, 27 minutes, 7 seconds. They're like, why don't you? Good idea, guys. Oh my God, when the guides are like, hello. Why don't you leave them there? That's a wonderful idea, guys. Thanks, guides. Yeah. That's how I'd really talk to my guys. What a great idea. I would never have thought of that, by the way. But anyway, going back to what we were saying, pay attention to what's motivating you. If you've got lust, and it's lust in meaning there's a lack of balance in your drive for something, usually sexual stuff, but there's a lack of balance there. These are imbalanced energies. That's what I'm trying to say. Gluttony. You want everything on your plate and you want other people's as well. You just can't have enough. There's no being content with you. So guess what? If somebody offers you that big time job and you have these vices very active in your life and you haven't balanced them out, you're just gonna sign yourself up for something. The guides are like literally selling your soul to the D, you know what I mean? And not the D that we're all kind of like, hey, can I talk? I mean, the other D that we started talking about earlier, whose other names is the S, right? Anyway, Spirit is saying this is the way you have to look at it. This is you leaving yourself open to temptation. Let's talk about these devilish energies going on right now. Again, like I said, you have to you have to ask yourself, what was I dreaming about? What were my nightmares about? What were my fears about? Why was I antsy recently? What was I thinking about? Those are giving you insight into what a core belief is, what fearful core belief you may have within. But either way, it shakes out to this lack of trust. Okay? When we trust in the divine, when we remember who we are in a better place to elevate ourselves. And it's okay if we get spooked at first by whatever's going on and we're spending like some time in paranoia. We're like, what's going on? This is how you diffuse this situation and any situation. Of course you're concerned. Of course you were scared. You've got inner children. They're kids, different ages. They act like kids of those ages. So if you have an inner child that's age 6, you may not realize, but that panicky feeling in your stomach is that child, or the one who's age 8, who's quiet and shy. Meanwhile, your buddy's child, who is age 8 also, they also have a fragmented age 8, is adventurous and logical, and they're curious. So you and your friend are going to have two different reactions to something, because your inner children, super cute, they have needs. So if you're not even paying attention to what's going on inside, you're just literally floating about, and you're being rendered to and fro by your fears. But you have to trust. If you don't have trust in a higher power, whether for some of you it's like your grandmothers, or some of you come from a very strong tribe, or you're in cultures where you can trace your tribe and your lineage, and you draw strength from your culture, and you're a warrior type of energy, right? You may have feel protection from in that line, right? 30 minutes 30 seconds. Others of you may draw protection from religious symbols, things like that. Whatever it is, you have to start understanding, what is it that makes me feel safe? And if you want to do a deep dive, you can be like, why? You may not be able to reach it unless you go into some past lifetimes, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, I see why. Who knows, right? But find something that gives you an ability to transcend what? Your fearful mind when it's activated. Always remember that. One of the best books that I have, which I have not read through and through, but it always finds me when it's necessary, and it's staring me right in the face right now, is A Course in Miracles. You notice I talk about it quite a bit. And if I were to oversimplify it, I would say it is basically a deprogramming book. It is, if you are in a cult, or which is the world, the earth, what cult are we not in down here, with literally idolizing people and chasing dollars and all sorts of stuff? It's cult stuff. That book will deprogram you, okay? It's written in what seems like religious language, but it's actually not a religious book at all. All right? So please don't if you have religious programming and traumas, which a lot of people do, because we've been on this planet over and over again, and religion has been all throughout cultures, right? You may get triggered by certain words, and just look past the words and focus on the message, because the words are not religious. It's not a religious text. And if you know, you can check it out online for free at acim.org. A Course in Miracles. You can also buy a hard copy, which I suggest. Anyway, so wow, I really had to speak on that, guys. I had to bring it back to center, because a lot of wonky stuff is going on. I'm seeing a lot of other readers going through some things right now as well, and the stuff that they're saying, I'm just like, oh my God, I know I'm experiencing the same thing over here. And I'm remembering, oh yeah, the guide said a few days ago, Jay, crazy energies, what did it say? Get grounded. Yes. So anyway, let's move on. I just had to get that out. Thank you for staying with me. If you're still with me, and if you are not, you're still love you. Let's take a look. Remember, in some of the astro reels, I talked about a set of cards that I just recently bought from Lynette. Lynette, you can find a link to her store and her cards in my spiel below, 32 minutes 22 seconds. I always put which decks I use, and her Etsy store is called TotalDivineProducts. Okay, and her Instagram, 33 minutes 33 seconds. Look at God, look at the Lord, look at the guides, and really endorsing her. Lynette's Instagram is called Total Divine 2021. Okay, she makes amazing decks for all kinds of things. I really love them, and two that I really love are the triggers and the shadow cards. But today, because the energies are so heavy these days, we're going to be using the Happy Oracle deck. Hold on. Let me pull this over here for us. Oh, maybe I don't have... Oh, I don't have the card with me, but anywho, it's called the Happy Oracle deck, and you can find it on her store. So let's pull a few so that we can raise our vibrations. Some of you may be raised already, and that's great. I'm just gonna, there's, how many? I heard 5. Oh, here it is. It's funny because I thought I heard 5, but I also heard 2, and look, 2, and then here's the thing. So let's pull. Okay. So you can, and forgive my nails, guys, my bad. But anyway, you can use these cards in any way that you like. But what I've been using them for today is to help attune myself to higher vibration. Okay, like I said, the energies are very rich right now. Hey, I'm gonna have a seat. And so hopefully you can still hear me. Elated. She said to feel into that time you felt so proud of yourself for completing a goal, even if it was a small one. So remember, you guys, when we feel our emotions, well, anyway, we're always signaling to the universe what to create for us. The universe doesn't care what we're saying with our lips. As far as it's concerned, it doesn't speak your language. It only feels the signal that you're sending, and it's going to go with the strongest signal, right? And if these signals are strong and neck, you might manifest a chimera for yourself, so be careful. Wow, he does have a job, but he works the graveyard shift and I never see him. You know, it's like, wait, what? So you have to look at what it is that you're asking for. So one of the things you can do is morph energetically, feel into these energies so that you can resonate and resound with these feelings. So with the feeling of elation, she gave an example of that. Radiance, if you want to engage with the feeling of radiance, thereby becoming and embodying radiance, what you can consider is know and feel your inner beauty. Shoulders back, smile, walk with confidence, and let your radiance be seen. We spoke about this. Now, what I'm getting energetically, because you know I also do read energy. So energetically, these cards are amazing. What I'm feeling coming through here is that Spirit's like, yo, remember that time when you really used to feel really good? Get to a place in your mind where you are literally, and I almost said engoldening yourself. You are literally wrapping yourself up in golden energy. Golden energy, when it's gold, is going to give off a certain frequency, right? I do want to say, quick story time, 1 minute for it. I used to work at a school, and actually it was on 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, shout out. And so whenever it would be time to welcome the new students, these were students who were coming from abroad to come to attend courses there, you know, I would help out. So I would go and stand outside with a cute little sign and say, hey, this is the school. Yeah, you probably don't speak the language here, but come. And sometimes I'd be annoyed, even though I was like right across the street from, the plaza. Literally, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. From a coffee bean, I could have totally like just chilled and done my work. I was annoyed. And I was like, why? I have 2 master's degrees. Why am I out here greeting people who are just coming to get to the school? That's where my mind was at. It was, and I remember one morning I was like, I can do more than this today. I know we're not teaching today, whatever, but I can do more than this today. Why am I sitting here doing this? And my guides, they were like, Jonelle. I was like, yes. I was like, what? More like, and they're like, you know what? This is what you're being asked to do right now. You're a team player. I was like, oh, Capricorn South Node. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. You're a team player. Come here. What do you need to do? I was like, show them this sign and like direct them upstairs. Well, think about it. These are people who are here in the country and coming here for the first time. They're coming, they're kids. They're not kids. They're like 18 and above, 26, 30, blah, blah, blah. And they're coming here and they plan to go on to higher education. They need this language. They just need you to show them where the school is so they're not walking the promenade and just enjoy it. The air is beautiful outside. And I just thought to myself, you know what? Because I love my guides and I love listening to them. They're always so wise. I was like, you know what? I literally said verbatim, I'm going to be the best, probably like this, I'm going to be the best golden light person ever, because they told me to put golden light around me. And I literally did that and I was like, zing! with my coffee in hand, of course. And I was like, doo-doo-doo. Literally less than 5 minutes later, a homeless guy, because, you know, Santa Monica's riddled, God bless, a homeless guy walked by and he said, look at you. He was like a traveling guy, you know. He was like, look at you with your golden light, 39 minutes, 39 seconds. I was like, he saw me. I was like, that was the universe's way of saying, Jonelle, this is real. Because this was a long time ago. I wasn't in this field yet. I wasn't even in Japan yet, which is when I started this channel. And they're like, this is real. Hello, we out here. I was like, oh. And from then on, I not only realized use your visualization, but look, part of me is like, I'm telling too many stories, and they just showed me no. Storyteller, hello, that's what you're here for. Come on. I was like, oh, okay, so forgive me. I'm just doing what they asked me to do. But from that day on, I realized, okay, my energy, change those colors, girl. Get that pink around you, work that green, put that gold in your stomach because you're feeling a little woozy, and there's a reason, right? There's a reason people respond to this. And he had the sight. That's why he saw it. He saw it. And in that one moment, he fulfilled his contract to me, which was to come by and to tell a sour grapes girl, I was actually not as young as we'd like me to have been, but to tell a sour grapes person who was like in the middle of relaxing on the job, because the job gave me a chance to relax then, I see your golden light. And I was like, oh my God. Sorcery! Just kidding. No, I didn't say I didn't say that. Right? Back in the day, right? But I didn't say that. I was just like, oh. I respected it from then on. And I also respected what I was doing. And it's not that I didn't respect it. It was just that I was having a moment. I was having a moment there. And we all have moments, but we have to get balanced to get grounded again. You know, this is what it is. Yeah, who cares if you're a teacher? Who cares what education you have? Who cares how much money you have? Who cares whatever? The point is, in this moment, Spirit wants to move you to be of assistance in this way. 41 minutes, 41 seconds, tie those person's shoelaces. Okay. Ding. Wash that person's foot. Okay. Cook that meal. Okay. Tell that story. Okay. Right? I love telling stories, and apparently today I get to do that. So long story short, my bad. After the long story, get a grip. Get a grip. Thanks, guys. A grip on what? On spirit. Right? It's like, reach. You're like, I can't. And suddenly, where did all this room come from? Then it's like, I gotcha. Right? Spirit's like, 42 minutes, 22 seconds. Lean on me. Lean in. Call me. Talk to me. What do you want? Why aren't you doing it? I sent you 10 signs. You know where to go, right? Oh, that reminds me. I totally didn't remind you where to go. If you'd like to work personally with me, you know where to find me. And you can find me on Etsy. God bless. But anyway, yes, me and my team. You can find me and my team. Ooh, my team's strong. They're like, and us. They know who you're talking to. Thank you, guys. Everyone's like, who? They know. Right? But you can find us there and we will be happy to help you. Okay? Now, I do note it's 43 minutes. Can we please get to the rest of the message? Let's pull one more card from there. They said, ebullient. Stop it, guys. I know you guys aren't doing anything, but I'm saying stop it because the guides just had me look off to the side and I saw this cute little gift that I got today. And it was not from a man. In case some of you are wondering, you see the roses and you see... No, I would have led with that. That would have been what I started everything with today. But anyway, look, imagine being gifted your most ultimate desire. Feel it, hold it, experience it. Let me show you 43 minutes, 43 seconds, what came to me from a friend. After these messages... It was this. And inside of this was this. Isn't that the cutest thing? Spirit is like, what's in the box? Love. There it is. That's always what's in the box. There are no heads in here today. Someone's like, aw. Someone wanted my head, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, Spirit's like, never. And also, it's funny because they had me find these images that, I wonder why they're telling, look, I'm just going to share what they're telling me because I'm sure someone will be like, hey, I was going through the same thing after. But the guides had me remember these things. Okay. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. Oh, they're so sweet. They're like class act. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. 48 minutes, 48 seconds. Fours. Do you remember who these guys are? Okay, wow, interesting, guys. Now, take a moment. Do you have religious programming? If you do, you may feel some aversion, and I wouldn't be surprised because, again, in our energetic field, we carry a lot of these things. But please know that these energies are here and they're not religious, the way that they're presenting themselves. And we already know who these two lovely individuals are, Lord Jesus Christ. Some of you may add extra titles. Some of you may call him by another name. Some of you may see him in a different light, different way. Some of you may, if you're more into galactic off-world stuff, you may know him as Ascended Master Sananda. God bless. There's also Holy Mother Mary, miracle worker. They both work miracles, of course. Holy Mother Mary came through a lot today. And the Spirit is saying, shift your understanding of who these people are as well. Okay. And do you know who this is? Some of you will be like, I know him. Okay. Lord Saint Germain. Okay. Keeper of the violet flame. So anyway, they were showing me these cards. So let's go ahead and pull a few. God bless. Spirit is saying when we have, even if you want to cling to these energies, when we have these kinds of energies backing us, and I didn't even get into the archangels, right? And then some of you, you know the power of your own ancestors, right? When you have these energies backing you, what could be against you is what they're saying. The only thing that could be against you is what you allow to be against you. Now they want me to pull a card from here, but hold on, let me pull a card from here. Freedom. Freedom is yours when you choose to believe. Enduring. You are making steady, lasting progress. Stable, long-term, deep, right? And soul travel. You are shifting to a higher consciousness, being, connect, bliss, all right? Bliss, that's one of the energies that are in this deck. So Spirit is speaking to us today. Awareness. Look at it, it's almost like this this kind of wanted to come in, and it didn't, it went here. Spirit's like, it can't come in. There's nothing to come into because you're so well-rounded, you're so whole. The Christ consciousness is your whole template. It's the non-fragmented self, non-fragmented energetic template being, right? But when we're here on earth, we've already fragmented to such a large degree, and we know that. We can roll up into any licensed therapist office and they'll speak to us in terms of in other words, right? There would be other words listed about what those things are. I'm trying to think what they would be called. I can't remember. But if you have dissociative identity disorder, right? That's extreme fragmentation, energetically speaking. Bipolar symptoms and such, that's fragmentation. So, and we all have fragmentation also just walking through life. When you have traumas, PTSD, when you wet your pants in front of school and everybody laughed, and because they're kids. Now you've got this major trauma you're walking through life with. Little 6-year-old you struggle with getting on stage, even as a 62-year-old person, right? There, when we look in your field, I will see that little 6-year-old split off from you in some capacity. But because we have to work with it, love it, show it there was nothing wrong with it. There was no shame. There was never any separation. You were never cast out. There was no betrayal. You didn't hurt God. You didn't all this. It goes deep, deep, deep. Past lifetimes, right? It's never about wetting your pants. That sounds crazy, but it's, when somebody, like we always, I don't know who, but I always make the joke. It's never, you come and you talk about how you had a bad date, and you're crying about it. And then after doing a deep dive, you're crying because you remember that it was actually about you crying in the closet because you were scared of your dad. It's like, it always goes back to your parents, right? But actually, when we're really looking at it, it goes back to the one. Somewhere along the line of your existence, you had a mistaken reasoning. In A Course in Miracles, they talk about it, they call it sin, but it's not religious. So get that idea out of your mind already, because I'm already feeling a lot of you trying to be on the cross here or in brimstone or wherever you're seeing yourself. Bring yourself back. Use a pen, a pencil, keep reading and see how the text defines the word sin and its usage. That's just plain old SAT prep. You know, in the paragraph, what did the author mean by this word? A, B, C, D. Well, you have to read the rest of the paragraph to understand it. If you read it, you realize this has nothing to do with religion. This has to do with what? What does the Course tell us? It's a mistake in reasoning. What is the original mistake? The mistake is that you are separate from God. Now you may be like, Jay, girl, what are you talking about? I know this, blah, blah, blah. You don't know anything until you feel it viscerally. Sometimes you may feel a visceral feeling and you may call it an aha moment. You know how powerful an aha moment is already when you're like, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. You have to put your hand on your forehead like, what? Oh my God. And then, it's like, it's that slow clap. It's like, oh my God, wow, you really had me. And you put your hands on your hips. I get it now. Now imagine that 10 times more, because you've gotten down to the root of it. And now you're looking at this conversation with God. That's why when people are saying, oh, you're blah, 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 you're acting out, why are you self-sabotaging? Just cut to the chase and be like, I'm angry with God because God betrayed me. God made me feel this. God didn't love me. And that's the mistake. There's the mistaken reasoning. They also talk about the authority problem. The authority problem, thinking that you are better than God, thinking that and we see this mistaken reasoning a lot. In mainstream media, it's come to this point where we can have this clearly be said, what I'm about to say now. People are like, how could you sell your soul? It doesn't even belong to you in the first place. And if you know, then you're like, oh my God, you're right. Oh my God. And then you start to remember, hey, I'm just bringing all these past moments into this present moment, and this one, 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 and this one. There's no continuity except for that which I choose to bring into this moment. So if I want to change my life and I'm really ready for it, then I stop and I make another action. And then in comes Law of Attraction by Abraham and Hicks, and they talk about turning your attention to a higher reaching thought. You're worried about your bills? Stop thinking about your bills. Think about watching that cartoon. Enjoy the cartoon. Pull these cards out. Have a good laugh at what they're saying to do. Why? Because when you do that for at least 17 seconds, you change the stream. Remember, don't cross the streams in Ghostbusters. You change the stream of focus to now something else. And when you do that for more than 17 seconds, now it's for reals starting to take shape. You build momentum the longer you stay in there. But when you go back and you start thinking about your bills because you saw your bank account, now we're not doing here. We cannot multitask. I don't care who tells you it happens. The brain does not multitask. It can move quickly and be like, right? Shout out Geminis, right? But at any one given time, it's doing this. Bink, 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 bink. It's not this, ding, ding, ding. That's not real. My bills. Wait, but God loves me. Wait, my bills, but my bank account doesn't own me. It doesn't matter. I'm my own person. I'm sovereign. But what about all the other people? Like Christmas is coming up and I don't even have a thing to do any. I'm so poor and all my brothers and sisters make more than me. But God said, but where was God last time? And you see, the universe is just like, okay, what do you want? The universe is like with its little laptop or its little thing. Okay, we'll fill that order. Okay, wait, no, you're over here. Oh, okay. And then you're just creating a chimera of circumstances for yourself. How is this not a storm? Okay? So Spirit is saying, be whole. All that stuff is a sign of fragmentation. We worry because we're fragmented. We already know that the way we see the world changes depending on our wounds and how we have dealt with our wounds. And we know friends and family and ourselves who are just rolling in victim consciousness, like it's going out of style. We know whole cultures stuck in victim consciousness. We know whole genders still doing that. We know new genders doing that. We know people get stuck in victim consciousness. We know martyrdom. Everybody in their family has that one person who's like, well, I guess I'll just do it because nobody else does it. And you just want to be like, all right, Janet, since you're already on the cross, why don't you do the laundry too? And they're like, oh, how dare you, right? Yeah, you want to be a martyr? You want to do that? Go for it. But don't bring me into it, right? Low poverty consciousness. Oh my gosh, I have to work extra in order to get paid. Oh, the world sucks. Everything's corporations. Everyone's going to run me to the ground. This is poverty consciousness. Low self-worth. I don't deserve it. Someone pays me a compliment, but I can't even see it. Those bastards, they're just lying to me. Or, oh wow, they're saying that to me. Well, I don't know. What are you seeing? No, this old thing. Right? All of this stuff. Spirit is like, just take it, 54 minutes, 54 seconds, and throw it away. Because all of that, according to A Course in Miracles, does not exist. There's no such thing as victims. There's no such thing as sacrifice. All of that stuff. And before you start saying, yeah, Jay, but over in this part of the world and that part of the world, and oh, sacrifice is real because I know, because go read the book, go see how it develops for you. You must seek to understand before you seek to be understood, because you can't understand. A Course in Miracles teaches you think you're thinking things, you feel you're feeling things, but you're not, because you're already in the realm of dream time. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't be seeing good people, bad people, happy, sad. This is fragmentation. This is duality. And that's why we also know, when we talk about karma, this saying to be true. The thing or the person that you run towards 55 minutes, 55 seconds, or the thing or person that repels you, like you just can't stand to be in the same room, those are electrical charges, and they're dead giveaways that you've got karmic work to do around something there. In other words, you've got to heal a misperception. In other words, you're carrying a core belief that's built on fear. It's not real. That's why you're flip-flopping. All right? It's just not real. Part of you wants to eat pasta, and the other part of you wants to have In-N-Out. And another part of you feels too lazy to even order something, and another part of you is angry that you're alone and you're not with somebody, because if you were, then maybe that person would cook dinner. And then another part of you starts getting sad because you're such a loser, because if you were with somebody, that would mean that you're fragmentation. Okay? Crazy making. So let's round it back out to what we were talking about earlier. Wonky, funky, eerie, crazy, weird energies are at bay right now. How they show up for you, in what area of your life, what you make it mean, blah, 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 is your stuff. Your projections are all over it. Okay? And the way that you move through these things is to remember, oh shoot, I'm feeling kind of weird though. Where am I not trusting in my safety? Where am I not trusting in something higher? That I can be cared for, that I am cared for. Am I even seeing this situation properly? I just heard someone say, am I even seeing this relationship properly? So for somebody here, this is about a relationship. I would argue most people don't see each other at all. They just see their own selves. And they're not able to recognize it. You can't see what you don't have. Why do you think I'm in your shadows? Look, I may get down on myself and stuff, but I'm a damn good shadow reader. You want to find out what's going on in your shadows, in your basement, you come see me. But I'm not going to sit here and say that it's because I'm higher than you. And no, I have it in me too. That's why I could see it. And the gift I have is the ability to articulate it so that you see it. And then God is good. They give the receipts because they have nothing but receipts. And I'm talking old school receipts where they're like, ch, and they do ch on that little like pin where they just put all the receipts. They've got the receipts with carbon copies. So the question will always come back to two things. Are you ready to get going, or are you going to be stuck in your story? First thing. I know that was like two questions, sort of, or something. And then the second question is the question you will be asked inevitably at the pearly oval table or wherever you guys meet your team of guides when you're reviewing your life on the other side after you've transitioned. God bless, God bless. And I think after the party and the reunion with everybody, because I hear it's after, it'll all boil down to, yeah, we saw all these things. You did this thing, they did that. Now you get to experience what you did to the other person. How does it feel? How do you feel about having, made them feel this way, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you do get held accountable for how you impact other people. Don't get swayed up here on Instagram wrong way. Ego will have you believing stuff like, how they feel is their business. Yes, it is. But yeah. FAFO, look it up. Okay, I'm just saying. Don't take that risk. We are responsible for what we put out into the universe, okay? Into the universe, that's true. But the question that it will boil down to is simple. Did you love? And you may find in that moment, oh my God, I really hurt this person. And it wasn't my intention. I was feeling myself because I was a victim in my own mind my whole life. And I can, the better way to look at it would be something like, the higher way would be like, okay, so I said this or I did this. I saw the legacy that it had, the effect it had, whether I intended it or not, on this person's life. What can I take ownership for now? Let's take a look at it. And you'll be in your heart space. You for reals want to help this person, this soul feel better. Because if you can go to sleep knowing you probably made someone cry, you're probably not watching this video. Okay? And if you are watching this video and you can do that, you have to work on your heart space. And if you've explained it away with the statement, well, I was just saying my piece, they chose how to take it, it's their thing, they could, okay, that's fine. But here you are now on the other side with your life review, God bless, fully ensconced with love, by the way. And you're in your real mind, you're in your real heart, and you're like, dude, yikes. I could have been more gentle. I was right in the message I wanted to convey, but I was in my ego and I didn't realize it. I had just gotten paid earlier that day. I was feeling myself, or I carried the idea that I was a victim since age 23, and it was a chip on my shoulder. And I didn't realize it, but I thought that I had a right to hurt other people and say what I wanted, right? All of these things we're moving in, we're acting out of. If you can't see that, you have to look. What's motivating my rationale for the things that I do? And if it's something that's supported by mainstream media, then please keep looking deeper, because Earth is the upside down. And we have to be very careful, because when balance is not applied, when balanced compassion is not applied, when balanced kindness is not applied, when working towards community in a balanced and loving way that's solution-oriented, but also caring for the needs of all of those who make up the community, what are we doing? Now you're just out there riding a horse like a cowboy and gunslinging and carrying these big slogans. I said what I said. I'm the ish. It's my turn. I'm this. Everything can't be I. You have to temper things. And we are where we are because we are where we are. But we do have to take a moment and start to consider, where else could I be? How can I make this less about me, more about others, less about others, more about me, depending on where you are? How can I make this healthy? I just saw this card like, because I'm actually looking up while I'm channeling and talking, and I just saw this card. He's like, hey. He didn't say that, I said it. But but I definitely saw it gleam, and I looked down. Oh, this. And this song, which I know a friend hates, your name starts with an M, okay? You know who you are. I was just chatting with you recently, and you sent me an image of a red rose. I think you hate this song. Is it you who hates this song? It might be someone else. It might be someone's name who starts with a K, and you don't live in the US. You know who you are. Either way, it's turn on your heart light. I don't know why. I think it might might be the K person. M person, love you. Okay, we both love this song. But, you know, turn on your heart by do-do-do. Let it ring, oh, let it shine, whatever. Wherever you are. Let it something for all the world to see. Yes, Neil Diamond, okay? Don't act like you don't know that song, everybody. We know that song. So Spirit is saying, same thing we've been saying for a while. And the same thing the guides were just saying recently. Get into the heart space. If you want to survive the age of Aquarius with deep fake, with AI getting smarter by the day, with people getting confused out there and making slogans, doing things, acting out, blah, 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 supported by society because it seems like it's normalized, but completely off from the heart and from the true north, you must get into the heart space. It will help you to determine what is real and what is not real. It's funny because as I'm saying that, thank you, Spirit. Okay. They're just saying, yes, that is the message. And I'm like, let me write that down too. I actually go back and watch these videos too, because I don't remember what comes through, but it always relates to me too. And the same thing, not only will it get you on the right path, but you will be a leader. When Spirit sees you're in it and you're leading by example, they're going to put you in positions of leadership. They're going to send people to you. They're going to pay you. They're going to give you that job. They're going to give you that home because you are doing it big. That's what they want to see. Help us fight the illusion. That's the war. The illusion is the war. The illusion is that we're separate. And when we're separate, ego comes in because now this world's not big enough for the two of us, you know, so it just goes and goes. And then you add scarcity, perceived scarcity with physical resources. If the world were ordered a different way, everybody would have what they need. They would be doing what they want because there are people who just love to do things other people hate. You know, you have to understand we're trying to flip this planet. The planet itself is cool peeps. But the people and the souls and the consciousness is the issue. The consciousness is the issue. When we're in the sandbox, any other beings who are advanced technologically, advanced spiritually, advanced in terms of all sorts of stuff, because their cultures, their beings, their species have been around much longer than Terrans, people who are here on this earth, than whatever you want to call us, right? It's child's play. You want to see what child's play looks like? Look at Star Trek Next Gen. And look at when the away team, Riker, hot, when the away team goes down to these, what's the word? Primitive planets. Sometimes they have to don, you know, the wear and the costumes and stuff of the people on that planet, and they are not allowed to interfere with the organic evolution of that planet's awareness, their culture, their tech, their spirituality. They can't. Otherwise, they would be breaking the prime directive. Hello, same thing here. And on that note, I do want to issue a little bit of a reminder. You can't get everybody, but if you are looking to be led by the news and the media about how to deal with things, don't bother. Turn the TV off, because I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing a lot of stuff about extraterrestrials and all sorts of stuff. Do not buy it. Okay? You have to drop into the heart, and you have to use the heart to navigate. Everyone wants to be on, what is it, tattoo or whatever, what is it, in the cantina with all the different species and stuff. You will get eaten up alive on this planet alone, and you'll miss out being able to connect with beings who are actually already here in human form. You know who you are, or who are here in the non-physical. They're standing right next to you, right? They're in different forms, who are here in other capacities. Yeah, they're good and not so good. They are just like here on this planet, but do not look to your society and your institutions to tell you who or what things are. You will never get the true story. So you can choose to continue going the route of just buying stuff and buying into stuff, or you can choose to go to the wake up route. Wake up. No one's asking you to join a membership. No one will ask you join a membership. Do this, do that. All they're asking you is to get in touch with your heart. It's free, all right? Get in touch with your heart. Get in touch with your heart. Practice your virtues. Watch out for the vices. Balance, balance, balance in all that you do. Focus on building from love. Focus on releasing your fears. Why do we stray so far from that? Don't get caught up in the hoopla. It's all lies and media and lights and actions. I'll leave you with one last example and then we got to go. Nightclub. It's 11 p.m. and the club is jumping, jumping. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody's looking good for the getting. People are pre-gaming. People are doing all sorts of stuff. You get into the club, depending on what kind of club it is and how much is going on in there, you see all kinds of things. People touching each other, people hurting other people, people hooking up. That one guy finding his true love and they got married later on and now they have 6 kids and okay. We see you, Rolf, whoever you are, right? That one guy. But energetically speaking, those are very, very dark places where entities hang out. They want to latch on because they want to do the things that they were doing before. It's energy. Everything's energy. Entities can be parasitic. And a lot of people don't realize this. They get scared. They do this, they that. And sure, now you can choose to see it through any lens you want, religion, psychology. You can choose to blow it off and say it's not real, Jay. But listen up. Your energetic field is something you have to learn about. Dropping into the heart, aligning your heart with the divine, that being the highest and purest vibrations of light, 1 hour, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. Because there's all light all over. There's dim light, there's light, there's kind of whatever light. You're looking for the highest and purest vibrations of light. You plug your heart into that. You plug yourself into the crystalline grid, which is a massive template that will help you to elevate your consciousness and ground in the 5th dimension. And you practice being about love, okay? You let the heart space align all of your other chakras. Basically, that means seeing through the eyes of love, hearing love, right? Feeling love. This is how you move towards unconditional love. And so when they say guard your souls, guard your minds, this is what it means, okay? It's not rocket science. It really isn't. All they're saying is, hey, sit down, sit maybe 10 minutes. Can you feel your heart? How are you feeling? Are you sad? Are you happy? Whatever. What can you do to change your mindset about stuff? Oh, you're angry with this person. We understand. Did you tell your story? Now let's look for the holes in the story. Are you playing victim consciousness? Are you feeling low about yourself? Did you treat yourself today? Don't worry. We love you. You love yourself. It's okay. Don't beat up on yourself. It's common sense self-love, but we're so confused that we put ourselves out of ourselves and we are rushing to wear clothes with somebody's name on it. And then when we find out certain pictures come out or certain people were on islands with these same people whose clothes we're wearing, now we're all up in arms. Stop doing that then. Why don't you take a moment, get into yourself, focus on what it is you're trying to do. Doesn't mean you can't hit the clubs. Doesn't mean you can't do this. It would mean that you're coming from a more conscious perspective though, and you would be aware. And I do want to say that when you start to purify your energy field, the things that usually call to you, some of those things that are toxic will no longer appeal to you. You just won't feel like it. When your body changes, you no longer feel to eat all that cheese, for example. And I know, sacrilege, because I'll always be eating cheese, and so will you, right? But do you understand? You won't have a loss. There's no sacrifice there because you don't want to give it up. You're done. You're purifying yourself. But when you're in this in-between, that's when you get the tug of war. I'm like, what? Push and pull, tug of war. The fragmentation. I believe that God loves me, but I believe this person can overtake me and hurt me. But at the same time, do I trust myself? I don't trust anybody because my parents and, which one is it? And so let's pull ourselves together. God is good. I just pulled us all together. And just remember, it's much easier than you think. Okay? Turn on your heart light. Ooh. Don't know how to do it? Ask Spirit. Ask your team. Don't know how to do it? You got to find out. I'm sorry. I can't. We can't do everything. We're here. We're trying. Okay? And if you're watching, you probably know how to do that too. If you need a little heads up, go ahead. Find a quiet space at some point. Close your eyes and connect. That's it. Hello? Anyone there? Silence. At first, you may hear a whole bunch of stuff. Doesn't mean it's them. Doesn't mean it's you. I would say keep it up, because a lot of times we're so pent up, stressed from work, stressed from things we're worried about, understandably, that whenever we go to lie down or sit down or whatever, we can't turn our minds off. Don't turn it off. Let it all flow out. Eventually, it will empty itself, and then you can start to make a little headway when you're going deeper inside. Okay? We're here to win. And what winning means is that we don't allow our own darkness to overtake us. Okay? And if you're not keeping it 100, you will see your darkness is emanating and originating from outside of you. That is not true. It's inside of you. There's a dynamic that you need to clean up. And once you do, you will be demolishing the energetic structure that's in there in the non-physical. And so therefore, the carbon copy physical forms, people, places, things, situations, and ideas that attracted you, or you were attracted to, or magnetized to you, or were able to manifest in your life, that were manifesting because of that structure, will leave, and you won't care because you're moving on. Okay? Anyways, God bless you. Bless your buttons. If you'd like to work with me more personally, get down to the nitty gritty, do other fun stuff together, or just share a hot beverage, you know exactly where to find me. Serious inquiries only, and do not come to me if you're not willing to do the work. Wow, sorry, I had to say that very strongly. My higher self has had it. Do not come to me if you're not willing to do the work, okay? And what that means is you go with what Spirit is saying, in the sense that if Spirit says that now is the time for you to take a moment and take some time for yourself, listen, okay? And do what needs to be done. But, let's get it done. Zing. God bless you guys. Mwah. Have fun under this moon. What's this moon again? Just kidding. It's a moon in Pisces, right? Listen, we're out here. This is learning how to dispel the illusions. 2023 to 2026, Pisces, Neptune. Whew, okay? So as I was saying to a couple of friends, if all of us are in the land of illusion and delusion in some places in our life, this is going to be a time of sobriety. Saturn is going to be doing some things. It's teaching us lessons on how to see clearly. Do not get caught up in the hullabaloo. Get into your heart. Be kind in speech and manner. Focus, seek first to understand, then to be understood, if to be understood at all. And focus on building love throughout the community. And practice. It's okay. We're just trying, okay? Anyway, for reals, I'm leaving. I'm leaving this time, I swear. Mwah. Love you guys. Stay tuned for the next Astro Reels, which I'm going to go ahead and do right now. Bye.